The Canadians are breaking through!
Where are the green flares?
What difference does it make?
The Canucks were to use green flares to signal their approach, so we would... It's not the Canadians! Radinsky! Lucky!
He's dead, Ulan! We will be told we don't fall back!
Hello and welcome to another Steel Division Divisional overview. And today we're taking a look at the first Polish Armoured Division. They're Poles in tanks, and they're pretty good at holding hills in real life, that is. So let's take a look at how they actually perform in game. In terms of economy, you got 90 points in A phase, 115 points in B phase, and 125 points in C phase. So a rather nice income curve. The C phase is a little bit lackluster. 36 activation points, standard for an armoured division, and pretty standard armoured loadout. You got lots of infantry, lots of tanks, and everything else is pretty standard. So let's jump into the recon. So I'm not even going to try and pronounce any of the Polish names. I'm just going to call them as the English counterpart. So you got Scout and you got Recon, pretty standard stuff, yeah. You also got a Morris LRC, which is pretty mediocre. It's not like the Commando run, which has 2 self-veterancy, so you can really pass up on this. And it's also more expensive, I believe, than the Commando run. Anyway, it's a pretty trash unit. A pretty trash unit. You also have Recon Stuart. So these are just the M3 models of Stuart. You get them in A, B, and C phase. They're rather nice as Recon Optics. Decent price at 90 points. They're honestly not too bad. It's just pretty much a standard little Recon tank. And then you got more Scouts and Recce troops into B and C phase, but with some better armoured vehicles. So pretty standard stuff for Recon. Infantry is where things get interesting. We got Strochki, which is really the bread and butter of this division. They're pretty much regular riflemen in vein of Canadian riflemen, as they only have 1 submachine gun compared to 2. It does make them 5 points cheaper, which is pretty nice, but you do lose out in that CQC firepower, which does kind of suck. But you do get a lot of them, as you can see, quite a healthy amount. You can get Vickers guns, which are pretty meh. I'd really pass up on that. You also got regular commandos with a Piat, and they come in a regular carrier. And also you got Draguni, which are your motorized infantry. They're like motorized rifles, but they're worse compared to the Guards armoured motorized rifles, as the half-track is 5 points more expensive, and you only have 1 submachine gun compared to 2. So I don't really find the Dragoonies to really be worth it. Even though this is an armoured division, and you should be using motorized stuff, the Dragoonies is just not really worth the money. That is, you get more stuff in B phase of the stuff you got on A phase from earlier, but you also got Saparis, which are really awesome as a 10-man flamethrower squad that come in a half-track, and you get a healthy amount of them as well. Great for holding towns, holding forests. Really good CQC infantry, and they have a lot of HP and 2 submachine guns, which is pretty decent. You can't really say no to a flamethrower, now can you? Tanks, you got a lot of tank options for pose. So in A phase, you got options between command Stuarts. These are just the M3 models of Stuarts, and then you got Cromwells. These are just the lighter armored Cromwells. There's no 11 armored Cromwells in this division, but you get a quite healthy amount of these chaps in A phase, and the Cromwells are pretty functional medium tank, so having such a tank like this in A phase is rather lovely, especially in such numbers. You also got command Cromwells in B phase, and you finally get some Shermans. You've got command Shermans as well as regular Sherman 5, so they are a bit more expensive compared to the American counterparts, but still, a Sherman is a Sherman, and Shermans are lovely. You also got Fireflies. You got the Firefly 1C, which is an earlier model of the Firefly. It pretty much just has 1 less frontal armor compared to your regular VC Firefly. But it's 20 points cheaper, which is rather nice. So you only get 1 per card, and they have no veterancy. But it has a cool paint job. Like, a lot of the Polish units in this game have really cool paint jobs. I do want to, if I can actually pull one up, I just really only need to call one at a moment. But it does give you a bit of extra style points, I have to say. And then C phase, you got regular Fireflies as your only tank options. You get 2 per card or 1 with 1 external veterancy. Pretty standard stuff, yeah. Support, 50 cal jeeps, pretty passable. In terms of supply trucks, you got 1 play card in A phase, and then 2 by B, and 3 in C phase. Pretty standard progression. Staghounds, which is a lovely little light tank slash armored car. Technically a car, because you see it does have big bloody reels. Staghounds essentially just a Stuart on reels and 1 less machine gun. They're very nice, and you get a healthy amount of them as well. The Cromwell Mark 6 is a lovely Cromwell, as it does have a long-range gun. This is perfect for knocking out anti-tank guns and other emplaced positions and infantry, for example. And you get up to 4 of them in A phase. Against more infantry-focused divisions, these Cromwells are absolutely deadly. Especially if you fight in a division and they only have like 1 Pack 40. For example, you kill out Pack 40, it's only 1.2 kilometer AT in that case, and then you can just kill everything else at a nice safe distance. These are lovely, lovely vehicles. So it can be situational. If you fight against, for example, Trophy S, they're not going to be as good in the open field as there's probably going to be a Boy to Firefly rating for you, but the Cromwell Mark 6 is a nice unit nonetheless. And you also got some M3 command cars in B phase. Once again, cool paint job. I really do like the Polish Armour Division logo. Anti-tank, you got some Piats, pretty passable. They come with the Universal Carrier, which is also pretty passable. You got anti-tank guns. I highly recommend taking the 1-star veterancy one over the no-star, as that 1-star veterancy makes a big difference. You got Piats and then 3 scout cars, which is an interesting choice. So, considering the transport is double the price in the Piat, kind of ruins the whole point of the Piat. The Piats don't even have any veterancy, so they're gonna miss. You got single 17-pounders in B phase, as well. You got Wolverines and Achilles as well in B phase, are only in single cards. You do get quite a lovely amount of B phase 17-pounder weaponry available to you. It's just not entirely card efficient, but you get a lot of options, which is nice. And in C phase, you got more of the 17-pounders, as well as a very nice card with half tracks as well as 1-star veterancy. We're still getting the same availability compared to the previous cards. This is a lovely unit, right? Yeah, definitely a must-have. Anti-air, pretty standard stuff. Postons if you want something crap. Crusader AA if you just want 3 postons and 1 unit. It's a much better choice. Crusader AA as well as Bofors on the back of a truck. So, rather healthy amount of AA, and this C-phase Bofors card is extremely card efficient. It's rather lovely. Artillery, nothing really here to talk about. Turrets, carrier, if you really desire, but it's pretty pants. The Sexton, which is not so pants, it's very good, and you get them available in A phase, which is lovely, as well in the B phase. So you don't have any veterancy, it's a bit of a bummer. You got 3-inch and 4.2-inch mortars, and then regular 25-pounders, but you have Sextons, so why would you take 25-pounders? It's not really worthwhile. The extra 30 points makes a huge difference. The Sherman 5 OP, if you want some off-map artillery. Nothing really too fancy here, but the Sherman off-map is always rather lovely, as it does provide a good fire support vehicle. And then you get more sections into C phase and some more 4.2-inch mortars. Nothing really too fancy here. And the airplane tab, this is where things get really cool for the Polish Armour Division. Because they have a fantastic, fantastic air force. And it's a really cost-efficient air force as well. The Poles know how to fly around on a budget. So we got the Auster, which is your pretty standard recon plane. But then we got the Hurricane, which is one of the best units in the division. Which is rather funny, because the Hurricane, I mean, culturally, has always been outclassed by its Spitfire, even though there are more Hurricanes during the Battle of Britain in Spitfires, and played more of a decisive role in said battle. But anyway, the Hurricane's really good in this game, because you get a lot of them. They have 1-star veterancy, and they're cheap as chips, only 110 points for a rather effective fighter. In a one-on-one against a Messerschmitt or a Focke-Wulf, it's going to lose. It has worse agility, and it has worse speed. Both of them. It has the same agility as the Focke-Wulf, I believe. So, in a one-on-one, you're not going to be doing good. But you can easily get 2 Hurricanes pretty easily. and you just win by superior numbers. And the Hurricane, even though it's a cheap plane, has a fantastic armament of 420mm, the same as a Tempest, for example. So when you get behind something, it dies. It really does die. But also the Hurricane is a great strafing plane because it's cheap, you get them in A phase, where the Axis usually don't have much in terms of anti-air in A phase for most of the divisions. So you just have free reign of being able to strafe all the anti-tank guns and infantry and other tanks easy peasy. And its speed is advantageous for this because it's slower, you can get more shots on the target for every strafing run, meaning the Hurricane is an extremely efficient strafing plane. They're great. You really should take both of these Hurricanes at minimum for all of your Polish divisions. But there's also more Hurricanes available. You got Bomber Hurricanes, as well as a 2-star version, which has two 230kg bombs, which is a rather lovely payload. You also got Rocket Hurricanes as well, which are also really good at knocking out anti-tank guns and other positions. And both of these are really cheap planes, 170 points and 150 points for bomber and rocket planes. That's a really lovely deal compared to the like 210 20 points you pay for Tempest ATs and P-47s. Even though they're a bit more fast and more survivable, but you still provide a great job of doing what they need to do. You also got Mustang Mark IIIs, which is a worse version of a P-51, but it's still as fast as a P-51 and has a good agility. It just doesn't have the 6 machine guns, it only has 4 50 cals. But still, you get them all of 2-star veterancy. So these are really effective planes just due to the veterancy alone, and combined with the Hurricanes from earlier, you really do have the power to have air supremacy. You really do. And in the sea phase, you can also get some Mosquito bombers if you so desire, but they only have the smaller payload of 110kg bombs. So it really sums up the divisional structure. So let's take a look at a deck that I built earlier. Once again, the deck code is in the description below. So well, let's jump right in. Recon tab, 1 card of Recce's, and just one of the A phase Stuarts for recon purposes, and B phase, which is taking both card of Scouts with the M3 Scout car. Infantry. So this is actually a rather common infantry loadout, I find, for a lot of Polish players that I see play. You just Trotsky spam. You just Trotsky spam, and you just get 1 card of leaders. It seems a bit silly, but it ends up being the best strategy, as the Dragoonis aren't really cost efficient, and considering you can almost get free Strotskys for the price of 1 Dragoonie, you get much more HP per buck. Yes, they don't have a P-out, which is a bit of a bummer. It's really the main downside of doing Streltsy spam is you don't have handheld AT, but you get a lot of infantry in lieu of that. Also, they're not motorized or mechanized, I should say, so they're not great for half-track rushes or doing armored pushes. You have to, make sure you unload them in the place you want them to unload. But you're not going to run out of infantry with this strategy. You do need fire support to make them worthwhile, because by themselves, the Streltsys aren't exactly great. They're really just to be cannon fodder. That's what the Streltsys' job is. The tank tab, has many ways you can build a tank tab. You can really go, there's all different sorts. You can go Firefly spam, Sermon spam, whatever you want. But for me, I take 1 card of regular Cromwells and 1 card of Command Stuarts in A phase. B phase, 1 card of Command Shermans and 1 card of the Veterancy Sherman 5s, as well as both of the B phase Fireflies. And then C phase Fireflies. So we've got 4 Fireflies in total. You're going to see I don't take the Achilles. That's because I'm taking both Fireflies. It's honestly, I find the Firefly to be a much better choice compared to the Achilles, as it has a bit of extra armor, which does make quite a bit of a difference, as well as being an enclosed vehicle. The Achilles usually gets scared rather quickly when being shot at, and considering I don't have any veterancy, it's very important to make sure that these guys aren't panicked or morale damaged whatsoever. Also, the Firefly does have a better turret rotation compared to the Achilles, which does make a pretty big deal when it comes to first shot, and you do want to try to get that first shot with these tanks. So for extra 20 points, I find the Firefly to be a much better choice. It is worse in the infantry department because it doesn't have the 50 cal machine gun. Support, A phase Staghound, A phase Cromwell. Not taking any A phase Playtruck, which is a bit risky. but I just find I don't have the not the income, the slots to really afford to do that. I mean, I would recommend if you're not going to fight against more infantry focused division, maybe try to find and squeeze in another Cromwell card, because these are absolutely deadly in the right hands. A B phase supply trunk as well as B phase command. And the tank tab, A phase 6-pounder, B phase Wolverines is a nice and card efficient and a good cheap decent AT weapon, and then C phase 17-pounders. Anti-air, pretty standard stuff. Crusader AA, just one of it in A phase, and then both fours in B and C phase. Artillery, we're just gonna do Saxon spam. This gives us 4 sections in total. I do find I do sometimes end up using 2 cards of the A phase Saxons, and I usually don't find myself getting, like, if I was to knock this out and get the other Saxons, I'd never really find that I need 5 Saxons. I find 4 to be really the perfect number, so I try to take both A phase cards and the B phase Saxons. And Saxons are great, they're lovely, they're great not anti, but artillery pieces. And then the air tab, both fighter hurricanes, 1 bomber hurricane, 1 rocket hurricane, and then the Mustang Mark III. You have great close air support as well as great air supremacy options with this air tab, and all on a budget, which is great because the opponents don't have a lot of money to spend anyway. So, overall, the pros of this division is obviously you got power for 8 phase. This is the division like with French or 4 for Desert Rat, is meant to really do the bulk of the attack in an A phase and try to grab as much ground as they can. And you got lovely options for it. But with this division, it's more about using the Hurricanes, I find, to do that. And that's also going to bring me to my second pro, the Hurricanes. The Hurricanes and the air power in general in this division is bloody brilliant. It's great. I don't think I really have to say anything more on that matter. Now the cons of this division is you got pretty meh infantry. Even though strategy spam's good, it's kind of sucks you don't have the motor rifles that are absolutely worthwhile. The greenies are just not worth it. I mean, losing that submachine gun and the 5-point extra price really puts a hamper in how effective they can be. It really is a bit of a shame. Maybe you can make it work. Some people like to do a bit of strategy spam with some greenies on the side if they need to do a big mechanized push, but I find strategy spam to be good enough so far. And really, the big con, which is a real shame, and I'm kind of sad I'm covering this division last, is this just outclassed at this point. Why would you play Poles when you could just play 4th Armoured or Desert Rats? Because they both do the same sort of thing, A-phase aggressive pushes. But both of those divisions are better at the A-phase pushes. 4th Armoured's got silly Hellcats and Abrams, while Desert Rat's got veterancy up the arse and so many stack gowns that you might as well be running a kennel. The Polish, you don't see them being played all that much anymore because most people just play 4th Armoured or Desert Rats, which is a bit of a shame, because the Polish division is fun. It's great. It's cool seeing the Poles being represented in a World War II game. That doesn't really happen all too often, as they were doing quite a bit of fighting. And yeah, that's it really sums up the division in total. It's just saying they've been outclassed, especially considering Yischapia. He definitely has a rather kick-ass history, but I won't really go into that. That's a bit of the outside of scope of the video, but I highly recommend, just reading the thing right now or Googling him, because he is a pretty badass figure in World War II history. So with that out of the way, let's see how the Polish Armour Division performs in a match. And we are back. This is a 1v1 on Pegasus Bridge. There's the bridge over here, so we must be on Pegasus Bridge. We have the Knife Guy playing as the Poles, and we have Mickey playing as the Paris Division. If we take a look at Knife Guy's deck, there's a few more changes. It's taken 1 card of A-phase Dragoonies. The tank's a bit more heavier in the A-phase department. Pretty much all AT guns in the anti-tank department. A lot more spread out artillery using 25-pounders, as well as a 4-point turret, using a recon plane, and a lot less in the recon department. Like usually for most of these replays, I find that the deck I'm showing you right now is more geared towards 1v1, while my decks are more general purpose team game decks. Also, Knife Guy has both A-phase Cromwells, the support Cromwells, Mark 6s I'm talking about. So, in terms of this matchup, it's a pretty fair matchup. In terms of town, it's pretty 50-50. Knife Guy can Streltsy spam, or Mickey can Bavarian, Landshooter, RRA spam. Mickey does have the better CQC infantry, but Knife Guy just has, you know, a crap ton of infantry as well. Also, Knife Guy does have the support Cromwells and the A-phase Cromwell on the left-hand side here. And it seems like he's going to be doing his major push on the left. Which is a pretty good call, because Paris doesn't really have much in terms of heavy armor early on. Or armor in general. They got the B1. They got the Puma. I think they can get an A-phase Pack 40. I'm fairly certain they have an A-phase Pack 40, which is rather scary. But if you do the trick where you shoot in front of the Pack 40 over at max range with the support Cromwells, you can kill it from a safe distance if you so desire. But yeah, it's just going much heavier on the left-hand side, and just getting a few infantry to hold the right side town. This makes sense. It's usually easier to push over an open field and fighting building to building, hedgerow to hedgerow. And off we go. And Knife Guy's going to be getting that recon plane right out at the start. Definitely a gonzo move, and going to be having it recon on the left-hand side. Even got an AT gun as well. And he did get rid of that. He did get rid of that regular Cromwell in favour of a regular AT gun. I believe it's the Pack 40. No, it's Pack 38, my bad. Maybe I don't get Pack 40. Anyway, Puma in the middle. And his recon plane is going to be spotting quite a bit. Seeing all infantry going to the town. But look, there's already a flak gun ready to go. So the recon plane is going to be all out effective. It's going to be forced to retreat. We are seeing a marker being dropped, I believe, as on the AA piece, just so he knows where it is for a later date. And he's got his Streltsy unloaded. He's got a nice slow +1, thanks to the fact he's pretty much got the right side and left side under fairly good control. And he's just keeping that Cromwell back, not wanting to expose it, and just waiting for his Streltsy to move up. On the right hand side, just consolidating its position, there's really not much here to say. And getting another Cromwell. And this would be a loveliest Cromwell on the right hand side, as we know that Mickey really doesn't have much here. And Knife Guy's going to rest up his half track, see his 9018, and that's really it. So the Cromwell should be able to return fire and blow it up to smithereens. Here we are seeing a Panzerjäger being brought on the right. But even then, the Cromwell can deal with that Panzerjäger. Won't be able to kill it quickly, that is. But it can stress it out. And as you see the Cromwell, one hit, IG-18 takes a rather big chunk of damage. And see he is doing some blind firing, which is a real big tip for the Cromwells. Or you can always blind fire with it as a rather nice AoE effect. Moving up the half track, seeing what you can get. He did push a little bit too far, and now he's going to be behind enemy lines. He does spot the IG-18. Now he's probably going to get killed. No, I thought it'd be like what's it called? The Gender Army with the AT grenades. But nope, the half track's going to kill the Grenadier Führer quickly. And the Panzerjäger going to be forcing it to fall back as the half track tries to make dash back towards his lines. Streltsy does spot Landshooter. And then town, we are seeing Streltsy fight Landshooter. This is going to be a bit of a right noodle contest between both, as neither of them have really great CQC firepower. But Knife Guy's got a nice low +1. It's not like with Desert Rats or 4th Armoured I find repose where you need that you can make that crazy +2 point advantage. I mean, it all depends on who you're fighting against, of course, but you know, just sitting at a nice +1 is more than enough for pose. If for pose, you do have a pretty decent late game. Not the best, you know, Guards Armoured, that's for sure, but you can hold your own much more effectively compared to French Armoured, for example. I've seen a Hurricane fight a D5 Trentine, and a run and run, the Hurricane's kind of buggered, as the D5 Trentine is an extremely agile little bugger, and he can get right in his arse, and the Hurricane They do need to work in pairs, and the second one just isn't going to come out in time. But the D520 really doesn't have the firepower left to kill the second Hurricane. But losing a Hurricane's a pretty big loss. I mean, it's not bad in terms of the price, as the Hurricanes are pretty cheap, but you really want to try to keep that huge, like, armada of Hurricanes on standby. Because once you get into B phase, and if you can get like 4 Hurricanes out at the same time in B phase, you just stomp everything. You strafe everything, and the Axis are going to be too scared to bring out any airplane to fight you. They're going to have to be forced to invest in a lot of anti-air, which allows you to buy tanks and push them, as they're going to have less anti-tank. Battle Machine Knife Guy is just slowly picking off all of Mickey's infantry. And we've got J188 on the left hand side doing a nice bombing run there, but a Hurricane isn't going to be able to get a kill. Well, maybe if he can. The D520 is pretty low in ammunition, but the Hurricane is going to be forced to retreat. Will D520 shoot it down with only 300 shots left? Oh no, I don't think so. J188 might. I mean, it's pretty silly seeing the J188 as a bomber, as a fighter plane, but surprise, surprise, it has a rather deadly armament. I mean, it's like 5 HE power total. Yeah, I don't think all the guns can shoot at one target at the same time just because of where they're positioned. But still, pretty damn good for a bomber plane. I don't know why Mickey is still flying it around. Definitely want to fall it back and try to resupply, get that bombs up and running again. And things have slowed down a bit now. For Knife Guy, he's lost a bit of position in the left, losing the Cromwell. But he is starting to put some more forces in right. Got a stag count here, as well as 6-pounder being brought up. Still, that J188 is flying around all willy-nilly. But I think Mickey's now going to retreat it. Or maybe not. Maybe he just wants to see the French countryside. I've no another Cromwell on the left didn't get killed, as we can clearly see it, yeah. But there's a Pack 38 here, and he might be able to knock it out if he hits, but of course Pack 38 misses first shot. But the Cromwell, oh no, second shot gets a good kill. Oh, third shot gets a good kill, second shot disables the tank. But Mickey is putting on some nice pressure. But on the right hand side, Knife Guy is doing the same thing. There's only a Panjäger to really stop him, and it is a Staghound as well as a 6-pounder moving up. Bit silly using the 6-pounder in such an aggressive manner, but considering there's nothing to really stop it, it's not really a bad idea. You know, I see the D520 coming in to do a strafing run on it. But the D520 isn't exactly a great strafer, so it won't do much damage. You see the Cromwell on the right hand side, trying to get some hits on the Panjäger. Staghound is going to be able to return fire, and the Staghound really does have a good chance against said Panjäger. And gets the kill, easy peasy. You're on to B phase now, and you start seeing 2 Hurricanes out, where he's going to have them in pairs, as the D520 is not going to want anything to do with that. And see, he can just say, hey, Command Infantry, don't mind if I just strafe you? Cool. And if he can strafe that Pack gun, that'd be perfect for him. In town, still just, you know, neither side is really going to push hard in the town. It's just going to be a bloody meat grinder, both sides want to avoid. And 6-pounder being positioned on the left-hand side there, probably trying to get a shot on the Puma. The Puma's going to get first shot. It doesn't have great HE on its gun, so it's not going to do too much. So the 6-pounder will probably, if he just moves the command infantry over left a bit, be a much cleaner kill. But alas, he will not. They got a real nice chunk of territory right hand side for Knife Guy, as Mickey doesn't really have anything here. He's starting to bring up some reinforcements. Okay, this guy's going over and also got a... That's not a Flak 88, but that is the French heavy AA piece. Which is definitely what Mickey needs, as he's starting to get bombed a little bit here. Losing his pack gun to a heavy bomber Hurricane. And see the regular Hurricanes are still flying around, and might as well just try to strafe everything. And that's what the Hurricanes do best. He's got a recon plane on the right hand side. He's going to be forced to retreat as French 75 is going to tell him to bug off. In a not rather polite manner. And oh, damn direct hit. I was not expecting such a kill, but yeah, you go. But yeah, Knife Guys are slowly making progress. That's kind of the thing with Pose, is you're not really going to push all that hard or as fast compared to others, as you're mainly doing that Strotsky spam, right? So it's going to be more of a slower infantry foot slog rather than guard armored half-track rush trying to get into the town or forest, unload everything and blow everything up with Piats. Instead you're waiting for your Strotsky to move up and Strotsky get shot at, and the Cromwells and all they have a lovely fire support returns fire. You're seeing a 17 pounder, I'm gonna guess it's a 17 pounder being brought up on the left. I think it's a safe assumption without me having to zoom in and confirm my theory. The Knife Guy, what he has to do is really hold, get a nice +1 point advantage. There's not really too much scary that Mickey can bring out in B phase. He can get like one Stug and one Panzer IV, maybe like another Marder or two. But that's really it. C phase is where things get a little bit tipsy, as there's Tigers and Panthers that are available. But usually when you're fighting against Paris, it takes them a while to build up that Tiger and Panther force, and so you do have B phase, for example, to buy Fireflies, or 17 pounders in this case, to get ready for said heavy tanks as they hit the field. And you see Knife Guy, you know, he's trying to flank the town a little bit. You've got the Staghound poking at it from the side and some more strategy being brought in. He's probably going to need much more strategy to take out town. And probably some artillery or bombing runs. As the thing about Paris is they have very, very good infantry for holding areas. As all the infantry are pretty chunky HP rise. Nice and chunky. Got J188 doing another bombing run on the left-hand side. It's not going to do too much damage, only a Strotsky air, but that's going to allow Landshausen to move up and take some territory, albeit rather slowly. But Opposed is also a pretty good matchup against Paris, now I think about it, is you're going to get an Air Force Oppose, and if you do have the Hurricanes out, you can pretty easily make quick work of his Ju-188. And that's really the huge power play from any Paris player, is using those Ju-188s to bomb the everlasting Jesus out of everything. And yes, there's a slow meat grinder on the town. There's a huge chunk of territory here. I'm really surprised Mickey hasn't got like an infantry unit over here, for example, just to try to stem off some of that territorial advance from Knife Guy. It's really just this one Dragooni holding all this ground, which is like a good chunk of the map. The Staghound does go down to the Stug, and we're seeing the Hurricanes try to chase down this D5 Trenty. And one of them's going to get right behind it, and that D5 Trenty is mincemeat. We are seeing the Sherman 5 on the right hand side, and the Panzer IV here. So both medium tanks are out for Mickey, but the Panzer IV is being forced to retreat. As that 6 pounder does some good work, the off map artillery is going to do some good work against said 6 pounder. Sherman on the right here, getting some good hits. Going to be a fairly decent match against said Panzer IV. And also a Renault tank. I think that's a Renault. Was it a Hotchkiss? It's a Hotchkiss. Gotta get my French tanks right. In the middle, more strategy being brought up. It's going to be hilarious in Steel Division 2 playing like 352nd, for example, and still being able to do Renault spam. I wonder how effective Renault spam will be in SD2. Maybe it'd be like a Soviet division and only T-26s in A phase, instead of having an actual fair fight between one another. But that's for SD2, not for SD1. But yeah, it's really just a slow, I was gonna say plus run, but Knife Guy has lost a big chunk of territory on the left-hand side to Mickey, as Mickey does manage to get into the town, but Knife Guy can just bring up a bunch of strategies to try and take it back. He's probably going to need a little bit more, as that half-track air is going to be a pain in the arse. And we're going to see a bomb and run on the Puma. Will it be enough to blow it up, yo? Nope, as the bombs don't even drop, as Mickey's onto the vest and a proper anti-air net. The same thing Knife Guy, it's got a Bofors Portee on the right. Well, not a Portee, just 40mm SP. And Knife Guy is starting to flounder a little bit as Mickey is getting that slow plus run. And it's not too far off between either of them. Mickey making good use of his half track to rush up. Yo, he's going to get piated. And the Hurricane's going to come in. This is perfect. If he can shoot down the J188. Oh, it's going to be close. Yeah, we go. Anti-air piece. Not getting that second shot in time. And it's a lovely kill. If he can just keep those Hurricanes up and about, he can pretty much knock out Mickey's main armoured strength. And we are seeing a Firefly on the left-hand side, which is going to be a perfect match, as it's going to force out Puma to not rear a tugly ahead, but it is going to force Mickey to get a Panther on the left-hand side. It's just going to be a rather tough customer, as you really do need... He'd really need the Firefly and 17-pounder shooting at the Panther at the same time to really have a good chance of killing it. Pack 38 is going to expose itself, and the Strategies is slowly but surely, with the help of some other tanks, be able to kill it. Kill said Pack 40. Not Pack 38, my bad. That's 2 packs off. And J188 bombing on the right hand side. There's no Hurricanes out, so it's going to be able to get out scot-free. And the 17-pounder gets a lovely hit on the Puma. It's really going to come down to his left-hand side, whether his Panther dies or not. If he can kill his Panther, he pretty much has free reign to make some lovely advances on the left. But if he doesn't, and he loses his 17-pounder and Firefly, he's not going to be in the best position. But look, he's using close air support. Exactly how you're in... Oh, not going to drop the bombs in time, yo. If he could have dropped the bombs and fought the Panther to retreat, it would have been perfect. But alas, the anti-air cover from Mickey is just a little bit too thick. But Knife Guy has meant to stabilize it back to a 0-0. And he's got a very nice control on the right hand side now. There's nothing really much here to stop him. This is going to be about waiting for the strategy to move up first. So it's going to be a rather slow progress, but he's got 2 17-pounders on the right. He's really ready for any Tigers or Panthers, yeah. We've got a second Firefly on the left. So our Panther is a little bit outgunned now. And doesn't really have any other fire support, it's just a lone Panther, as the strategies are slowly moving up. As I take some chunks out of those Landschutzen and RRA Scrodge. Now Mickey is getting a Hummer. It's going to be a great choice in knocking out those 17-pounders. Panther stressing out Strochkia. And Knife Guy is making lovely progress on the right hand side with his anti-air piece and Sherman. He's able to put some nice fire support on the town. It's still going to be a rather slow progress in the town. He really needs like a tank in there, for example. Yeah, it's still a bit risky having a tank in there. He's got all these anti-tank infantry You see, there's a Cromwell nearby. That's exactly what he needed. And it's really coming down to his pound for fight. 17 pounders getting some good hits. It's 2-star veterancy. And there we go, Panther goes down. That's pretty much the game, I'd have to say. As Mickey's left-hand side is now extremely exposed. We are seeing that pack 40 being brought out now. And the right-hand side is being pushed absolutely hell and back. And yes, Point Knife Guy has pretty much run the match. He's managing to grind down Paris Division to a Pope. And then you can just make some nice progress. See, great use of the airplanes here. Strafing that pack 40 and then going in and killing the JE-180 afterwards. Yeah, Mickey's just really run out of steam. He's got a second Panther on the left-hand side, but as you can see, it's just too many 17-pounders. And it does go down. That really puts the nail in the coffin. As you see, Mickey's completely ran out of units. He's got a Tiger being brought out and right, but his heavy tank is not going to be enough. And Mickey's going to tap out, and that's going to be a good game. And Knife Guy getting a rather huge KD advantage. Killing those 2 Panthers definitely helped out quite a bit. Looking at history, it's pretty back and forth. Towards the end, as you see, a lot of German stuff does die. At the same time, seeing the strategy die, it's not really, as there's only 15-point squads, are very, very expendable. In terms of kills, the Hurricanes, as you can see, that's the Bomber Hurricane. That is the Bomber Hurricane. Now, managed to knock out quite a bit. You can still use it as a fighter plane, albeit not a great one, but if you do get behind something, you still have 420mm, so you're gonna put a lot of holes in whatever you shoot at. Hurricane bloody Sherman managed to do a lot of damage. Tries a Firefly and 17-pounder. And that's really it for the Polish Armour Division. They're a good division, they're fun to play, I really like them. They're just outclassed, they're just not as good anymore, which is a real big shame. And, well, that's all I have time for. This has been another Steel Division Divisional overview. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And, as usual, please just take it easy.